afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us during your very busy schedule for today. So sorry for the last minute changes. We had a technical error, and because of that, we had to send out the updated links. And we'll certainly make sure that you have a great time learning. And Ruben sir will surely assure you throughout. So before we go ahead, I would also like to thank our mentors at Praveen Kenneth Chair on Leadership. That is Mrs. Rashi Rutakumar and Mr. Samuel George, along with our chief mentor, Tony sir, without whom this event wouldn't have been possible. Now, just a few pointers to keep in mind for the audience is that firstly, PKCL will be conducting a series of 5 leadership skill building sessions. Our first one happening today with me, Muthu Ruben sir, and you will get a certificate on behalf of PKCL to reward you with the leadership skills that you will have achieved after the completion of these 5 sessions. Henceforth, just be assured that we will keep you updated on the future for personal connections on leadership skill building sessions. So just do keep a close eye on your emails for those links. Now, to give everyone a short brief about our very special guest today. So, Dr. V. Muthu has been working at Christ University as an associate professor since June 2007, while also having an additional corporate experience of 3 years. He holds multiple qualifications such as MCom, MBA, MPhil, and a PhD. That being said, he works as the Holistic Education Development Coordinator at Christ and is also known for being a specialized trainer for our college teachers in modules revolving around motivation, team building, leadership, and communication. He has also acted as a panelist for the admissions board at St. John's Medical College, visited multiple corporates such as Infosys, Cognizant, Wipro, to name a few, for academic delivery, and has conducted as many as 42 plus programs at 11 different institutions in person and given 27 online guest talks during this pandemic. Lastly, he lives by his motto, education without discipline is a sin. We are so glad to have you, sir. You may now take the lead.
Thank you, Abhijita. Can you confirm whether you can hear my voice?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay. Can I have the presenter rights also
Sure, sir.
from the host?
Yogesh
Maybe.
will,
Yes.
yes, Yogesh will do that.
I thank Praveen Connect Chair for Leadership for having invited me to share my views on this particular topic on communication as an essence to leadership. Now, let me take it as a privilege and wish you all a very happy afternoon. I think most of you would be getting this address happy afternoon for the first time, right? Maybe you've had a salutation by good afternoon, but I'm mentioning happy afternoon over here. The reason is whatever we do circles around our happiness. Please understand that. Whatever we do, underline, whatever we do circles around our happiness. So even if you want to go and sleep and get up and you want to feel refreshed, and there's a happiness in you. When you learn something new, there is happiness in you. When you go and visit new places, there's a happiness in you. When you interact with a stranger, when you give some advice or a help, okay, or whatever it is, there is a happiness which you done. So I believe that we are all agents of happiness and we need to radiate that happiness, right? We need to radiate that positivity. Please understand that. Now, having said that, we are going to do an activity. We are going to do an activity before I step into the pedal of delivering the lecture. Now, take your left hand. Take your left hand. You can see me taking my left hand. Yes, look into your left hand. In India, we hardly look into our left hand, obvious reasons. Let's forget that. Take your right hand. Take your right hand. Go over your left once, twice, thrice, and bring it to your cheek. And bring it to your cheek. Now hold on. Is this your cheek or this your cheek? Is this your cheek or this your cheek? Now, how many of you got it wrong? Give me a thumbs up sign. How many of you got it wrong? Give me a thumbs up sign. Yeah, you got it wrong. Great. That's nice. That's nice. I'm not asking who did it right. How many of you got it wrong? Right? What went wrong? What went wrong? Right? What went wrong? I said, do as I tell you, not do as I do. My LKG teacher has taught me, Ruben, This is your cheek and this is your chin, right? I just distracted you by taking your left hand, going over the right, and then you thought I'm doing an activity, but actually I was misleading you, and I brought it to my chin, and I've asked you to go to your cheek. Now, please understand that the essence of communication is not to duplicate anybody. Each one of us are talented in a particular skill, right? We divide skills into four: academic skills, personal, interpersonal, and societal. So communication comes in a personal skill. Please understand that. You can develop the skills. Got it? You can develop those skills. You can develop leadership skills. And one of the utmost importance for a leadership is the communication skill, the essence of communication. Why? Now you would know that good communicators become good leaders, great leaders, and great, okay, communicators transform into great leaders and they inspire people. Please understand that. Now, when we say inspire people, okay, you would have come across so many leaders. It could be political leaders, it could be business leaders, it could be religious leaders, right? And they have the essence of putting things across in a more simplest manner and getting things done and putting the message across in a nutshell so that you can understand it very well. Great leaders are very good communicators. You need to have the essence of communication in order to become a great leader. Now, having said that, we will look into the so called secrets of great communication skills. And I'm going to play you videos in between also. So it will take some time for me to stop my presentation. The host, Mr. Yogesh, will play the video from his end. I want you to look at the video and I'll be asking you questions also, right? I'll be asking questions also. Now, I'm going to ask the host to play the video of Indra Nooyi. I'm going to ask the host to play the video of Indra Nooyi. So I'm going to stop my presentation over here and the host is going to play. I want you to listen to the video carefully. Listen to it carefully. I'm going to ask you questions.
Known for the outstanding company she keeps, the brilliant management of a truly global living legend, Indra Nooyi.
I was born in a great democracy. I live in another great democracy. Indians are capable of an enormous amount, and I think accelerating investments in infrastructure would be my #1 priority. Any CEO has to be big enough, brave enough, bold enough to face the critics, and personally, I'm ready for all of these fights.
Mr. President and NDTV, thank you very much for this incredible honor. You know, Malcolm Gladwell in his book, The Outliers, said, "Who you are cannot be separated from where you came from." I left India 35 years ago, went on to the United States, and had tremendous success in that meritocracy. But none of that could have happened if I hadn't had a wonderful upbringing very much here in India. So I have a lot to thank India for. Now, my 3 lessons I'd like to share with you. First, please be a lifelong student. You know, when we are kids, we ask questions like, why is the sky blue? Why is the bird flying so high? But for some reason, as we get older, that curiosity goes away. And if we are happy with the knowledge we have, then we are actually going to atrophy. So please remain a lifelong student. Don't lose that curiosity. Second, whatever you do, throw yourself into it. Throw your head, heart, and hands into it. I look at my job not as a job. I look at it as a calling, as a passion. And I don't care about the hours. I don't care about the hardship, because to me, everything is a joy. So whatever you do, please look upon it as a calling and a passion, not as a job, not as something temporary. The third and the most important one, please help others rise. Greatness comes not from a position, but from helping build the future. All of us in positions of power have an obligation to pull others up. You know, as I stand here today, I look at my responsibility not as accepting an honor. I look upon it as accepting a challenge and a responsibility, an obligation to actually make it possible for the people who are younger to come up and achieve levels of greatness so they too can be on the stage sometime in the future. So thank you again, NDTV, for this incredible honor. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
So you heard it from Indra Nooyi. Who was she? Which company did she head? Which company she did? Anybody from the audience? PepsiCo? Yeah, great. She was the previous CEO of PepsiCo, right? So this was an award given by NDTV way back in 2014. They have rewarded eminent personalities, Indian-born personalities. And after getting the award from late Sri Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, they were supposed to talk for 3 minutes. That's it, not more than 3 minutes. So she mentions a book. She mentions a book. What is the title of the book and the author of the book? Anybody? What is the title of the book and the author? Malcolm Gladwell. Yes. And what's the name of the book? The Outliers. Exactly right. Right. Now, good. A good leader is a good listener. I'm happy that you listened to that. Right. Okay. I'm happy that you listened to each and every word she spoke. Now, she said 3 lessons. Number 1, please be a lifelong student. Right. The mobile phone which you get today is already outdated. Right. We need to keep updating ourselves. Time and again, your mobile phone itself goes for an updation. It asks you, please update. And you press on the button, it updates and then restarts. Now, it's a very important lesson. As a leader, you need to keep updating yourself. You cannot say, I've reached the pinnacle and I'll not update myself. If you don't update yourself, you are outdated, right? Until we kick the bucket, we are supposed to learn something new. Each day, try to learn something new, and the happiness revolves around this. The second thing, whatever you do, please put your heart and soul and mind into it, right? Which means give your 100%. Give your 100%, right? Not for the sake of doing it, but involve yourself. Involve yourself. Involved in every activity. It could be a class activity, it could be an assignment activity, it could be a leadership chair activity, whatsoever. But give your 100% to it. Don't do it for the heck of doing it. Like leaders involve in each and every process. Please understand. They bring their subordinates along with them. They help. A third important lesson. Greatness doesn't come from a position. But when you help, others rise to this position. I'm going to give you a title of the book. The book written by Ruben Sharma. Of course, many of you would be knowing many of the books written by Ruben Sharma. No doubt about it. Maybe I'll share 2 books with you. The first important book as a personality development is where you can read this book, Who Will Cry When You Die, right, by Ruben Sharma. Small parables, 101 parables are there, 3 parables only for the married people, rest is applicable for all, right? Okay, each day you can reflect that parable and write something about that parable. What do you think about that particular parable? Your reflections on it. The second book which I would like to quote for you is same author, Ruben Sharma, The Leader Who Had No Title, right? The Leader Who Had No Title. So Indra Nooyi says that greatness doesn't come from a position, but when you allow others to rise to a position, right? Each one of you are talented in one thing or the other. Are you ready to help somebody with your talent? Are you ready to help somebody to come to your position? Please understand, leadership is all about even thinking about a replacement to your position. Leadership is not holding on to the chair and saying that I'm the leader, all of your followers. You need to plan that succession also. I also mentioned it in a premium meeting at our university over there. Now, having said that, I'm going to tell you about an incident which happened in my 7th standard. In my 7th standard, right? Now, this happened somewhere in the year 1986-87, right? 1986-87. Are you ready to hear the incident? Are you ready to hear that incident? Give me a thumbs up sign, quickly. Quickly, give me a thumbs up sign. Give me a thumbs up sign. Yes. Now, you would have heard about declamation competition. Declamation competition. You need to memorize somebody's speech and go and deliver it, right? So in my 7th standard, there was a declamation competition, and the competition was with the 6th standard, 7th standard, and the 8th standard students. Now you can lose to the 8th standard student, nothing to worry, he's a senior, but you cannot lose to a 6th standard student. So I had given my name and I had decided to speak Mark Antony's speech on Julius Caesar's funeral. Anybody knows it? Friends, Romans, and countrymen, lend me your ears. I've come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after the dead. The good is oft interned with their bones. Come I to speak and see. It is by heart. It is by heart. Even now I can say that speech. There's a reason behind it. So the previous day of the speech, I told my dad that there is a competition. I have by hearted my speech. And he said, okay, fine, that's nice. And he lifted me up and put me on the dining table. And he made my elder brother, elder sister, my mom, and he took the chair down. So the dining table was a stage for me. He said, go ahead. You know what happened to me? I was shivering. I was sweating. I was choked up. Now my dad asked, are you ready? You said you have memorized. Please go ahead. And I said in a very, very feeble tone, Daddy, it is here. It is not coming out. I said that almost crying. It is here. It is not coming out. What did I have? Anybody can type. What did I have? What did I have? What happened to me? Yes. Nervousness, fear, nervousness. There is a concept. That's it. Nandita mentioned it. Thank you, Nandita. Stage fear. Stage fear, right? Stage fright. All that nervousness, fear, nothing less than wetting my pants over there. I was shivering totally. My legs were wobbling. And so my dad said, he mentioned something very clearly on that time. And I want you to listen to that. He said, if you cannot speak in front of a known crowd, you cannot speak in front of an unknown crowd. I repeat, if you cannot speak in front of a known crowd, you cannot speak in front of an unknown crowd. That day was a disaster. I could not give the speech in front of my own family members, right? I cried. But the next day morning, I mustered some courage and went to the classroom. The classroom was empty at 8 o'clock. And there was a small podium for the teacher to stand, okay, and then take the class. I stood over there and I started rehearsing in front of an empty class, assuming that my classmates were there. I was confident in rehearsing in front of an empty class. And then by 9 o'clock, the teacher had come. She had taken the attendance. I went to her and mustered my courage and said, ma'am, by 11 o'clock, there is a competition. Can I rehearse in front of our class? She said, why not, Ruben? Rehearse. And my classmates were so happy because I was the only one representing the class for the competition. So I rehearsed in front of my own class and they gave me an applause. Of course, I stammered a bit. I was sweating, but then I overcame my fear when I rehearsed in front. I went to the competition. Luckily, none of the 6th standard students won me, but then I got a consolation prize. I got a consolation prize for talking the best in the body language and everything. And that day, I overcame my stage fear, right? Now, if you have your phobia for something, you have a phobia for water, how do you remove it? You have to get into the water. You have a phobia for heights, how do you remove it? You have to start climbing, okay, buildings which are taller, 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 and go. Now I removed that stage fears. And now give me an audience of 3,000 or 300. It doesn't matter for me. It doesn't matter for me because I removed the stage. And mind you, as I told you, it is a skill which you can develop, right? Okay. Communication is a skill which you can develop. Now I want you to tell me, write the words which Swami Vivekananda used when he went to the conference, okay, for the religious conference in Chicago. How did he address the audience? What did he start with it? What did he, brothers and sisters of America? Thank you, Aditya. He said, brothers and sisters of America, right? Your introduction should be in a manner it captures people. Now, how did I say? What was the salutation which I gave you? What was the salutation I gave you? Right? Happy. I said happy afternoon. Right? I said happy afternoon. How many of you are hearing this salutation for the first time? Give me a thumbs up sign. How many of you are hearing the salutation for the first time? Give me a thumbs up sign. Quickly, right? Can you make a change? Can you wish anybody and everybody henceforth with the happiness? Happy morning, happy afternoon, happy evening. Okay? Good is fine, but I feel that happiness has a little more energy, right? Having said that, you would have to make an impact when you talk. That impact could be either a salutation or something innovative which you do, and you have to capture your audience. Having said that, I'll go to my first slide, right? Speak to groups as individuals. Has my slide changed? Please tell me. Has my slide changed? I heard some noise in between.
Yes, it has changed, sir.
Thank you, Sam, sir. Okay, make a bond. Make a bond and begin with a bang, right? Begin with a bang means not that you go and shout over there. You will have to think innovatively, creatively. How can I go and maybe you can say a wonderful quote. Maybe you can take a wonderful quote. You are all okay, a generation which is born with the cell phone in the hand. I was at the age of 25 when I touched the cell phone for the first time, whereas you guys could have touched the cell phone the moment you were born. Okay, so you know where to get a quote from, right? You can Google, you can find out. Okay, speak to groups as individuals, and when you speak, you have to speak in their eyes, right? You cannot read. You need to speak. Please understand that. I need not tell you quotes. I need not tell you quotes. You know, our Prime Minister during his election speech, Bayo Behano, right? The address which he does, right? It's very important as to how you address the people, how you communicate to your audience, very much, very much. And you need to make a personal bond. You see, he makes it a point to say that I am there for you, right? I'm not going to talk about the policies, but he makes a general statement as though he's there for you over there. Now you need to connect with the audience with a particular bot. Please understand that. Now, having said that, you cannot read. You cannot read because if you read your speech, they will go to sleep. When you talk, they will listen. You got the point very clearly? If you read, they will go to sleep. Talk, talk. I'm talking to you. Talk to me, right? So people will listen to you when you talk. But if you're going to have a piece of paper and read it over there, sometimes I see the governor's speech read over there. Sometimes I see so many people just reading over there. Okay, and then it doesn't look good. Now, you need to deliver with a passion, right? Okay, that's what Indra Nooyi says. Whatever you do it with a passion. Not that you're going to just engage an audience and come over there. That passion is that involvement over there. And I always play this Indra Nooyi video because, I mean, there are so many things which you can learn from this corporate leader. And the most important thing is to connect with the audience. Your audience can be a heterogeneous group or a homogeneous group, right? But then you need to connect with them so that they know exactly how you are going to deliver the message. And there is some sort of an what you call positive emotion created over there. There's a suspense created over there. How to go about with it, right? Now, the third important lesson is that you need to listen to people. You need to listen to people. Please understand that. Communication is two-way. Communication is two-way. Got it? It is not one way. If you feel that you're going to make the audience think. You're going to align the audience thoughts with your speech. So communication is, so when you're going to talk, words have power. Words have messages, words have power. And that power would have to translate into a thinking process. Now, sometimes it so happens that when somebody asks you a question, you repeat a question or give a sarcastic answer back. That should be avoided. That's right. I'll give you a small example. One of the ministers was asked, why are the onion prices so high? And she replied, I don't eat onions. That's a very sarcasm. Please don't use sarcasm. Okay. I will tell you when you can use sarcasm. And you need to answer to the point. You need to understand what is the question and answer to the point and give a writer. Sometimes the answer could be different to the question. Sometimes the answer could be different to the question because your message is entirely different to what the question could have been asked to you. But then it should be aligned in such a manner. Okay. Now I'm going to ask the host to play us a video about how Nelson Mandela answered a journalist. And that is what I'm going to say, how you can answer a question even though it is not the answer to the point, but he wanted to make his point over there. So the host is going to play you Nelson Mandela's video to understand this particular point about how to go about with answers. Over to the host. We'll look at this point and I'll come to that, Prem.
Move on to our next questioner at the microphone over there. Mr.
Welcome to America, Mr. Mandela. I'm Ken Edelman. Those of us who share your struggle for human rights and against apartheid have been somewhat disappointed by the models of human rights that you have held up since being released in jail. You've met over the last 6 months 3 times with Yasser Arafat, who you have praised. You have told Gaddafi that you share the view and applaud him on his record of human rights and his drive for freedom and peace around the world. And you have praised Fidel Castro as a leader of human rights and said that Cuba was one of the countries that's head and shoulders above all other countries in human rights, despite the fact that documents at the United Nations and elsewhere show that Cuba is one of the worst. I was just wondering, are these your models of leaders of human rights? And if so, would you want a Gaddafi or an Arafat or a Castro to be a future president of South Africa?
One of the mistakes which some political analysts make is to think that their enemies should be our enemies.
Okay, I think you got the point right? How does Nelson Mandela answer to that particular question? The journalist was trying to corner him, saying that, how is it that you are in friends with those countries which the Americans do not tolerate? And Nelson Mandela gives a one-line reply to that. Now, there's a difference between reaction, acting, reacting, and responding. Right? I'm sorry to put this across. We Indians are very good at reactions. I'll give you a small example. Have you seen this particular Canadian show which says that laughter for gags? Have you seen that? Laughter for gags? Yes. Can you ever think about doing that in India? Can you ever imagine doing that in India? Why? Because we Indians will react violently, even though it is a humor over there, even though it's a fun. Now, that's the example I say for reacting and responding. Please understand that. We Indians are very, very good at that. I mean, we know that the so-called cultured group, which is there in the state assembly and maybe at the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, right? And they throw paperweights, mics, okay, chappals, everything. They are an educational class. They would like to show how exactly they want to put across a point. And I'm going to tell you about Sir Winston Churchill. Do you know Sir Winston Churchill? He was the Prime Minister when England went into World War II, right? Okay, when England went into World War II. Of course, England was supporting France so that France, together, they can get the Germans out of France. So one day, there was a narrow staircase and the opposition leader was trying to come down and he was trying to go up. And Sir Winston Churchill is a little stout man. So the opposition leader said, I don't give way for fools. I don't give way for fools. Sir Winston Churchill smiled and said, I do give way for fools. I do give way for fools. And he stepped aside. Now, what did he do? Did he react? He just responded. Got it? Now, there would be situations wherein you're cornered. There would be situations wherein you've been asked questions. You need not react to that because your reaction will show your body language that you're agitated. You see Nelson Mandela's body language. He was quiet. He was calm and composed. He just gave a reply. He just responded over there in a positive manner. Right? Now, you should have that mental ability to decide to only to respond in a positive manner. Got it? Okay. There was another incident wherein one of the so-called journalists had been arrested and put in jail because he mentioned that the Prime Minister was a stupid person. So the opposition leader got it in the parliament over there and the House of Commons, right? And he said, how can this journalist be arrested? And so Winston Churchill said, well, he's been arrested because he spoke the truth, that the Prime Minister is a stupid person. And he just cut it down. So, I mean, it was something like, okay, instantly he replied to that. Now that's a talent. That's a talent, God-given talent. So listen, so people, okay, can talk. You need to keep on listening, only then you can be a very good communicator. Having said that, I'll move to my third point, connect emotionally. Now, I just told you a story about what happened in my seventh standard, right? You should try to get your own story inside there, and people will remember you as to how you made them feel. And you should be remembered for the right of the reasons. Please understand. As a leader, you should be remembered for the right reason. A good leader will never blame others. A good leader would rather take the blame on himself and say that, yes, I made a mistake. I will correct it from my end. Not that he keeps on putting the blame on others. Now, if you are in a leadership position, please understand that. Do you have the mental ability to accept that your team had made a mistake and you take the onus? I think I can quote Dr. Abdul Kalam's speech, right? When the first missile landed in the Bay of Bengal, right? His boss, okay, so, took the responsibility of addressing the media. But when the missile was successfully launched, okay, when the satellite was successfully launched, he made Abdul Kalam to go and give the speech to the press and go and give the press. Now, that is one of the good qualities of it. You need to connect with the audience, okay, very, very emotionally over them. A story, how you make them feel. I'll tell you, people will remember you only for two reasons. One, for the good of the reasons. Another, for the bad of the reasons. In between, even in a class, we'll remember students who are very studious and students who don't study at all. Students who are very silent and students are very, very, very naughty in the class. I like naughty students because that's a big challenge to keep them occupied in the class. And we'll be remembered. Okay. Wherever you go, you're going to make an impression and you're remembered. And so the first impression is the best impression, and the last impression is the lasting impression. Keep that in mind. Right? The first impression is the best impression, and the last impression is the lasting impression. Right? Just imagine if it is your last day in office. Would you keep incomplete jobs over there? You'll try to finish everything so that nobody blames you over there. When you're given a role, when you're given a responsibility, put your heart, soul, and mind and try to finish the job. Now, the next important secret of a good communicator is body language, right? Open your eyes and see the audience. Okay, you cannot be looking elsewhere. I'm looking at your camera, please, and I don't have any speech with me. My hands are free, right? I'm looking at the camera. I'm looking at the slide over there. Open your eyes and see the audience. We are from a rich tradition. You know what? Our tradition is about respecting elders. I remember most of my North Indian students, when they come to meet me after a long time, they immediately fall at my feet and take the blessings. In the Christianity, we'll kneel down and get the blessings from elders. We are from a rich tradition wherein the body language portrait is there for respect. In the same manner, please understand, when you're going to talk, your body language matters a lot. You need to be flexible enough. Flexible when you say not that you dance on the stage, not you're rigid over there, but now I'm going to show you the body language of one of the personalities. Of course, there are two videos, right? I'm going to show you the first video. The videos about honesty. Okay, the host is going to play you a video about honesty. Now look at this particular person. All my videos are only 3 minutes. Please understand that. Not more than 3 minutes, right? So this personality is talking about an incident, and look at his body language, his facial expression, how he communicates with the audience. I want you to keenly observe, and I'm going to ask you some questions. Over to the host to play the video on honesty.
I was in India and I was teaching a course on leadership in India. This is a slum, so as they call it, in India. I got back to the hotel and I realized I didn't have my wallet. The minute you think you know everything, at that moment you know nothing. And so I was in India and I was teaching a course on leadership in India, and I had gone to this university and I spoke there, and after I left, I got back to the hotel and I realized I didn't have my wallet. And so I called the hotel and I said, can you please bring the car back? They have my wallet. And they said, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have a car. That was a taxi. And so they tried calling the taxi company. Nobody answered the phone. They tried again and nobody answered the phone. And I became a little cynical. I went from hopeful to skeptical to cynical, and I started thinking the worst of people. And of course, I said, well, my wallet is gone. By midnight, they called and said, we're still trying. He's not answering the phone, the taxi cab driver. But at 2 in the morning, they called and said he answered his phone. His phone was off. He's coming back to your hotel with your wallet. So I get dressed and I run downstairs and a man meets me and the bellman translates in for me and I get my wallet and everything is in my wallet. Everything. My passport, my money, my credit cards, it's all there. And I reach into my wallet and there's $70 US. I asked the man through a translator, what do you make a month? He says about 2,500 rupees, which about, with that time, was about $70 US. So I reach out and I say, let me give this $70 to you. This is my way of saying thank you. And the man says, no. I said, no, I don't think you understand. I have 1 month's salary for you. I want to say thank you. Here's $70. And the man says to the translator, no. And I said, there must be a translation problem here. I'm talking about paying you. I'm talking about giving you a month's worth of your salary. One more time, he said, and this time he became a little visibly angry. He said, I told you no. I didn't bring you your wallet because I wanted a reward. I brought you your wallet because it's your wallet. Now, this may not sound like an incredible story, but think what would have happened if I had lost my wallet in a taxi in New York City or a big city anywhere in the world. Think about what the chances of me getting my wallet back. Think about it and be honest with yourself now. This is a slum, so as they call it, in India. So I said to the man, what can I do to be thankful to you? What can I do to say thank you? He said, well, the next time you're in India, come to my house and have tea. Be my friend. Whew. Sometimes when you give, you get. Sometimes whatever goes around comes around. I didn't give that man a thing. He gave me a sense of purpose. He let me understand that there's hope in people and that you can believe in the humanity and the decency of people. And sometimes people just do things because of the right thing to do.
Was that story incredible enough? Please understand, there are two things you have to look at this story. Number one, you can learn about leadership qualities not necessarily from the high level people. Even the lowest of the person can teach you about integrity, honesty, and ethics. If you are a leader, you should have these qualities in you. First and foremost, integrity, honesty, ethics, moral values, which we say. And you should be open enough to learn it from anybody. Please understand, not necessarily the top management, not necessarily from the teachers. Of course, they would demonstrate it. Right? The second important thing, you see how he spoke? Was he pausing at a moment? Was he giving them also a space wherein they can reflect upon? He also compares, had it been in New York, I would not have got money. He puts his own country down and lifts India up. But he wants to put the message across that there was an Indian who made a difference. There was an Indian who made a difference. He did not want money, but he wanted to be a friend. A good leader will maintain a cordial relationship with everybody. Will balance it. Right? Will always motivate. Will take the toughest thing to himself and will give the easiest thing to others. Will help them grow. Will nurture them. There is something known as servant leadership. Maybe Sam Sir and the CAPS team can think about even giving that to you. Right? I believe in that. And see his body language over there. Use the word poo. Right? You could witness when he was talking, how many of you visualize a hotel screen? How many of you visualize that, okay, an auto driver had come there to give the purse? How many of you visualize that? Right? Okay, you could go with the story, am I right? He opens his purse. How many of you felt that he could have opened this purse and see that $70 over there? Now he had a story to tell. He connected well with the audience. 3 minutes, that's it. He spoke well. Mind you, all of you are brand ambassadors of Christ University. All of you are brand ambassadors. Even when you pass out and go, you're going to have the Christ University brand with you. Right? And that brand will talk volumes. When you say that I'm a Christite, when you go, so I graduated from Christ University, yes, which means the level of expectation of a candidate from Christ University is the highest. right? Mind you, we have topped most of the universities over there. I'm not worried about the rankings which came in the paper, but I'm sure the kind of ambience which we have, the kind of teachers which we have, the kind of inputs which we give for student, I don't think any other university in India could be doing so much of skill development and doing so much of orientation and helping out students over there. But at the same time, I caution you students, please understand, success doesn't come overnight. You need to work hard. You need to work hard. Please understand that. I got a question from one of them who said that, how fast can I learn this skill? Okay, how soon can I learn the skill of communication? It takes period of time. It takes a period of time. It cannot be done overnight. It takes hours and hours of practice for you to learn this particular skill on leadership and how to be good at communication. Please understand that. Okay, maybe you start with a small audience, grow to a bigger audience, and then grow outside your department, then come to the university level, and then you go to the stage over there. I mean, it's step by step. I do not want you people to take an elevator, but use a staircase. Come step by step. Even when you go to your job, don't try to go to the top. Somebody gives you a manager's post, you'll not be able to handle it. Go from the bottom so that you can sit in the top for a longer time. Right? Okay. Now, reflect a good personality. See, his body language reflected his personality, right? The way he spoke, the way he used his body language, and he spoke some sense. Now you need to read the audience. Now we are going to do a small exercise. We are going to do a small. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Fast, fast, fast. Give me a thumbs up sign. Give me a thumbs up sign. Fast. Give me a thumbs up sign. Give me a thumbs up sign. Ready? Okay, fine. I am going to write this word SILK. Okay, SILK. The chat is not coming for me over here. I don't know why. SILK. Yeah, got it. I want you to say 5 times this word silk. SILK, silk. Can you repeat? SILK, silk. SILK, silk. SILK, silk. 3 times up. SILK, silk. I'm going to ask you a question and you have to answer immediately. You have to type immediately on the chat box. I repeat, you have to type immediately. Okay. And whoever types immediately the answer, I'm going to connect with Sam and give you a prize. Okay. So I repeat, SILK, SILK, SILK. What do cows drink? Fast. Give me an answer. What do cows drink? Well, well, well. Okay. Okay. Some of you are giving me milk over there, right? Some of you are giving me milk. I'm not going to get your names out, but I know you associated silk with milk. And some of you are good enough, understood, and then wrote water over there. Well, what do cows drink? I said, not what cows give. Okay. Okay. I said, what do cows drink? Cows drink water and then they give milk. We associated silk with milk. Got it? Conditioning, conditioning, right? Silk, milk. Okay, fine. We'll go to the next one. I want the host to play the next video, Acts of Generosity. Acts of Generosity. Listen to the speaker, and look at his body language. And I want you to tell me how his body language reflected for you. Okay? Over to the host.
Kindness, acts of generosity, is how simple it is to make people feel good. I was walking down the streets of New York City, and a guy walking in front of me, his backpack opened and a bunch of paper fell out on the street. I didn't think much of it. I bent down, I gathered up the papers, handed them back to him, and pointed out that his bag had opened. Now, in our bodies, there's a chemical called oxytocin. Oxytocin is responsible for all the warm and fuzzies, unicorns and rainbows. It's responsible for all the warm feelings and connectedness we have with each other. Friendship, love. Huge amounts of oxytocin surge through a woman's body as she gives birth. This is what is responsible for the mother-child bond. Oxytocin binds human beings. There are many ways to get oxytocin. One of them is acts of kindness and acts of generosity. It feels good when we do something nice for someone. It feels good when someone does something nice for us. On this particular day, I did something for someone with no expectation of anything in return. I got a little surge of oxytocin. I felt good. He turned to me and he said, Thank you. It feels nice when someone does something for us with no expectation of anything in return. He felt good. I walked to the end of the street. I'm waiting to cross the street. And a total stranger who happened to be standing next to me said, "I saw what you did back there. That was really cool." As it turns out, witnessing an act of generosity releases oxytocin, and he felt good. And the best part about oxytocin is the more oxytocin we have in our bodies, the more generous we become. It is Mother Nature's way of trying desperately to get us to look after each other.
I hope you saw the full video. I hope you saw the full video because it got stuck in between. Did you see the full video? All of you, can you use the chat box and tell me whether did you see the full video or did it get stuck? Okay, you saw it? Okay, fine. Don't worry. I have given the liberty to the organizer to share these videos to you. So it's going to be yours, right? I believe in sharing my resources to my students, my colleagues, to wherever I go for a training program, I share these resources. So you can keep these videos with you and you can share them once, you can watch them again and again, you can share it, okay? Now, I want you to reflect on his body language and give me, what did you sense in his body language? Please tell me. His body language alone. His body language alone.
So could we have people unmute and speak as well? One or two?
Yes, they can unmute and speak. They can.
That'll be fine. Please,
yes,
please
yes.
unmute and speak, guys.
Yes. You can unmute and speak. Confidence, okay. Lot of hands. Okay, great. What else? What else? Realistic, lovely, lovely. Eye contact. His character, lot of action. Lot of action. He bent down saying that he took the expression. Yeah, exactly. Expression, generosity. That's what he spoke about. Right? Good, good, good. Thanks for your observations. Right? You see, from the other speaker to this speaker, from the other speaker who spoke about honesty to this speaker, which speaker did a lot of body language? Which speaker did a lot of body language? The second one or the first one? The second one, right? The second one. Of course, the first one also made sense, but the first one was a little rigid to himself and he was only talking to the audience. But the second one was doing a lot of action. Okay, of course, the first one was a little serious. The second one was very pleasing enough. And he was talking about a very, very good act of generosity, kindness. I'll just add my quotation to it. Charity is when you share a bone with a dog when you're as hungry as the dog. I repeat, charity is when you share a bone with a dog when you're as hungry as the dog. You cannot say, I have excess money and do charity. Right? You cannot say that you have excess money and you do charity. A leader should take the lead first in whatever he does. You see, the Indian Army, the casualty of officers are more in the Indian Army. Whereas in the Pakistan Army, the casualty of soldiers are more. Reason? Our Indian officers lead from the front. Do you know that? Our Indian officers lead from the front. Okay? And the Jawans come behind them. Whereas in the Pakistani Army, the soldiers are asked to go front and then the officers are behind them. And that is why we have the highest number of casualties as officers. Please understand. A leader will take the lead to do things, to inspire, okay? And you see his body language. How warm it is, right? A wolf pack, exactly right. Certain leadership qualities, it's not about communication alone. You need to fit in these leadership qualities when you say you are a leader. Please understand that. And when you talk, your communication is very much. Yes, Pramita, I have come to you. I'll make that point. I do understand the third time you are questioning. I'm coming to the question answer session. Definitely I do. Thank you. Now, very, very importantly is prepare your intent. You know what is an intent? Anybody? Content is different. I'm using the word intent. Okay, intent. Anybody? What is an intent? What is an intent? Anybody? Yes? Thoughts. What is? Where exactly is this word used? Where exactly is this word used? Anybody? Does anybody know indent? Indent.
So I can take a shot. Could be
Yeah,
wrong.
tell me. Yes, yes, Mr. Sam.
It means not only do you convey the message, but you convey the thinking behind the message. Is that
okay,
it?
Thinking man.
Just
Okay,
a
fine.
thought.
In literal normal sense, an indent is prepared by a chef. saying that he needs all these items. He needs all these items in order to prepare this particular dish. So the chef prepares it and gives it to the, okay, what we call the purchase department. We call it as an F&B stores department. And the F&B store, food and beverage store, is supposed to get it. That's known as an indent. Now, very, very true to the content that even one item cannot be. The chef will look after the materials come. He will tick everything to ensure that everything has come in that order. Please understand. Not even a single item should be missed in that. So when you prepare a content, your content should be full-fledged, right? And what matters is not what you say, but how you say. English does matter at times. Please understand that. Okay, what you say, okay, is very, very important. But more than that, how you say things, how you put across things, the manner in which you think. Please understand, half the troubles in this world is because the manner in which we reply, the tone in which we reply. A good communicator will try to reduce, we have a wavelength in his tones and everything, right? Most of you have pets at home, and you know exactly what the pet would like to do based upon the sound in which it gives. I have a dog, a lab dog. I know very well what it tries to communicate to me. It is a kind of bark to say that she's hungry. It is a kind of bark in which she says that, yeah, please carry me and pet me. It's a kind of a bark wherein she says that, I want to use the restroom. We have trained her, right? If an animal can communicate in that particular manner, imagine us. Why can't we communicate in the right manner? What is the problem? Right? Why do you want to do a different tone over there? Right? Okay, we can be polite enough, but at the same time assertive enough. Please understand that. Polite does not mean that somebody takes advantage of your weakness. You need to be assertive on what you say. Okay, and of course, the universally accepted language is English. And we need to have a good command. Don't worry. It is only a language. It is not a qualification, right? It's only a language. A good command over the language, which you can develop over the coming years. Please understand, as a leader, prepare a content, what you want to deliver, rehearse, practice, be thorough with that, and so that you can go and deliver. And try to put in something innovative in which you can put across, right? You see these videos over there, which I have a collection of around 4,500 videos. I have 4,500 videos. And I just picked it up from there and said, I will try to use this video for that so that the audience get connected to me. That's it. The audience get connected to me, right? Okay. And you also try to use that. Use your creativity. You guys are simply superb, yeah, right? The current generation. But one caution to you people, one caution to you people. We are a generation which try to refix things. If something was broken, we used to refix things. But you are a generation which is looking at replacing things. That's the only difference. If something is broken, it can be replaced. But we try to refix again. And so that happens. I'm sorry, no offense against anybody. That could even happen to marriage, or it could happen to a relationship, or whatever it is. Right? The tolerance level, your IQ level is simply super. Your intellectual level could be simply super, but your tolerance level has come down. And so if you are a leader, you need to have a high level of tolerance to accept others' mistakes, correct them, and put them on board. Got it very clear? Maybe your team member has done a blunder. It's okay, right? Correct him and give him the confidence to come on board over there, right? Not that you immediately remove him, say that you are fit for nothing, out. No, right? You need to go with your team as a leader. Recognize your team, be with them, support them, guide them, inspire them, give them another chance. What's wrong? And the same speaker, the second speaker, talks about, if somebody does something wrong in your family, will you ask them to go out of the house? The same manner, don't ask them to go out of the team. They also need to learn a lot. Okay. Now, skip the jargon. Don't complicate things. Use simple but right phrases. We talk about IST time, right? IST time. And sarcastically, we say, what did we say about IST time? Anybody? IST time is? Yeah, IST time is? What is IST? Indian? Indian
stretchable time, sir.
Yes, sir. Indian stretchable time, because we do not know about time value of time. You go to Japanese. Japan is one country. 3 years back, they apologized, saying that we are sorry the train left 5 seconds early. The train left 5 seconds. Whereas in India, we have a timetable, a railway timetable for all the trains which are running late. Right? Okay. Don't use jargons which people don't understand. I will tell you BSNL, both sides not listening. That was how the network was when it was launched. I don't know how it is now. And when I come to Christ University, because of the big buildings, right? Okay, we say Airtel is there. In Airtel only air is there, no tel is happening. A jargon is a term which you use which others do not know, would not know about it. You might complicate it. Okay. Say example, police. All of you know the word police? All of you know the word police? Do you know police is an abbreviated word? Do you know police is an abbreviated word? Right? Are you aware of police being an abbreviated word? Anybody? Yes. What is the abbreviation? What is the abbreviation for P? What does P stands for? Anybody? P stands for? Come on, type it on the chat box. P stands for? P stands for? Come on, let's see what you can think about the letter P. Yeah, polite. Oh my goodness, policemen are polite. Public. Okay, okay, public. So P stands for polite, public. What else? That's all. That's all. Your 80 participants, you can give only two. Peaceful. Oh my goodness. Public. Okay. Protective. Okay. O stands for? O stands for? O stands for public officer. O stands for obedience. Okay. Obedience. Order. Great. Order. O stands for officer. Superb. Officer. Okay. L stands for? L stands for, come on, legal, law, legal, okay, nice, law abiding, legal. Most of you are stuck to legal only because it's all law and order and legal. Okay. I stands for? I stands for, come on, come on. I intelligence, superb, intelligent, integrity, investigation. What is investigation? Intelligence, right? Public officer for legal investigations, investigate. Okay. C stands for, come on. Great, yeah. I'm getting nice answers. C, crime, cop, criminal. Okay, crime. C. C stands for. Okay, criminal. Okay. And finally, we'll come to E. We'll come to E. E stands for E. We talked about police, POLIC. Emergency, expectations. Okay, expectation. Great. Anything else for E? For E, emergency, establishment. Okay, fine. Okay, police is a universal word. Wherever, whichever country you go, police is police. Please understand, police is, it is protection of life in case of emergency. I repeat, protection of life in case of emergency. Right? You're happy to learn this? Give me a thumbs up sign. Protection of life in case of emergency. That's the abbreviation of the word police. Wherever you go in the universe, you go to America, police. Right? Okay. Police. This is the expansion of the word. Protection of life in case of emergency. Got it? You learned something new. Are you happy? You learned something new. Are you happy? Give me a smiley. Give me a smiley face over there. Okay. We'll quickly go to the other one. Practice being an active listener. A good communicator is a good listener. Okay. You need to hear from speeches, practice them. Nowadays, you have your mobile phone with you. You can record it and see how you have spoken, how you can go about with that. Okay. And how you can improve on this. Okay. Now, having said that, I'm going to play you a video. I'm going to play a video about a non-verbal communication, non-verbal body language, non-verbal communication. Got it very clear? I'm going to ask the host to play me the video about the most beautiful ad. The most beautiful ad. This was an advertisement played long back, and it had got an award for one of the best non-verbal communication advertisement. You see, the whole thing is about body language only, right? He's driving the car, the daughter, wife looking at him, and all of a sudden it looks as though he's going to hit something. They come as a seat belt and help him out, okay? And so body language matters, right? It's a beautiful advertisement, and in the same manner also, your body language reflects a lot on your personality. Please understand the way you talk, the way you portray yourself, okay, the way you communicate, the way you look at people. uh, you see, psychologists could be there in the group, and they will say that if a person is not looking at the eyes and speaking, if he is looking at elsewhere, which means he's telling lies. He's trying to get an imagination so that he looks elsewhere to see, but how can I put this lie across over there? Because if somebody is looking at ground, looking at the sky, looking elsewhere and speaking, be on your guard. Body language is very, very important. Please understand that. And that's a caution for you when you deal with people also, right? So a good leader would be reasonable enough to see the body language in others. He will portray a very good body language, and that is the essence of a good communication. Please understand that. Okay. Now, having said that, I'm going to go into the so-called okay. This is I'm going to cut this short. I still have one more presentation to make. Hold on. I'm just going to. So I like this personality a lot. I'm going to give you some tips on leadership lessons from Barack Obama. Now, first and foremost, please understand that be comfortable under your own skin. You need not imitate anybody. You have a set of talents. You can grow this skill. You can groom it, and you are going to be a leader on your own. You need not imitate anybody. Please understand. That's the most important quality. Well, you need to have an identity of your own, your style and everything. Of course, you can take bits and pieces from here and there and use it for your benefit, but then you need to have your own style. Now, the second important thing as a leader, yes, that's what we are speaking about. Develop your so-called communication skills. It's a very must. Barack Obama, I still remember for whichever speeches he has gone, he used to speak from his heart. There was nothing like a content which he used to read over there. Very hardly he read about a content. Now, you need to spend quality time crafting your speeches, right? You need to spend quality time crafting your speeches, which means we teachers, we say that for a 1 hour lecture, we prepare 2 hours well in ahead. 2 hours is the content which we prepare so that we can deliver, because you might run out of gas. Please understand that. It's just like a max paper. You want to score 100, you have to aim for 120. Only then you drop down to 100, right? And if you aim for 100, you'll get to 80. So you need to have enough content to deliver over there. Most importantly, practice your speech. This guy was an ardent basketball player, Barack Obama. So he used to practice a lot with basketball. And what Indra Nooyi said, deliver with passion, right? Okay, you need to connect with your audience, put a smiling face. I've given you certain clips about body languages, how they told their stories and everything. So you have to deliver with passion. That's very, very important. Not that you go there and just for the heck of it, do it over there. Connect with the audience very much. Connect with the audience. It's very important for you. You cannot go about in delivering what you have prepared, but what is the need for the hour, and connect with the audience in the right manner with the right content. So there is a message, right? He wanted to say the change we need. Stick to that message, right? And he went on to say that you'll get far with a great team. He's actually showing his back to us over there. He's seated over there, you can see. So he had his own team of people who supported him during his election campaign. You learn more by listening. This is what I said in my speech also, right? You need to listen to others. You need to listen and grow, right? Not only you communicate, you need to take a response from them also and understand how exactly they have understood the message. It's all about connecting with your audience. It's all about connecting with your audience. So this magazine, the Time magazine, not many of them feature on the front page, right? It's a privilege to be on the front page of the magazine over there. So they had given a response to him: stable strategy plus flexible tactics is equal to victory over there. And yes, Hillary Clinton. She was the Secretary of State. She was in competition with him from the same party for the nomination. Please understand that. And Barack Obama overtook her and was nominated within the party for the presidential elections. So yesterday's competitor is today's collaborator. It's a very small world. Don't try to put people out and say that you are no more needed. You never know. You need to go back to the other person and then give your smiling face and say sorry and get things done. Don't make enemies. Please understand that. Don't make enemies. And if you want to break a relationship, stop communication, the relationship will automatically be broken. That's a secret of breaking communication, which I'm telling you. Please understand that. But it's a small world. You need people again and again. You might be in dire consequences of their help. So don't make enemies. A leader is a dealer in hope, said Napoleon Bonaparte. Okay. So hope, that's what he's mentioned his message over there. So these are the two books, Dreams from My Father, Barack Obama, Audacity of Hope. Be your own storyteller, right? Be your own storyteller in one manner or the other. And you'll find it very, very meaningful to put your story across as to how you worked hard and came up in life. And that's a very good quality of a leader, to connect with the audience with their story, because you need not tell anybody else's story. I'm not sure whether you can see him. Can you see him over there? There's on the stage with a mic in his hand and stretching out his hand. If you can see him, give me a thumbs up sign. Leadership is influence. Leadership is all about influence, influencing people, right, and getting things done. So that's okay. Something which is, you can see that, okay, what you call sea ocean, or you can say sands of people over there. Use technology as an ally, went on social media to get things done, no doubt about it. Change we can believe in, used it to reach his supporters very much. So leadership is about empowering others, right? Okay, so you can see there's Superman behind, and he also takes a picture. And leadership is not about taking every credit to himself, right? When you can appreciate your subordinate, when you can appreciate somebody who's done something very good in your team, and allow others to take a credit, not that you take the credit to yourself. And a good leader will never, never, never put anybody down, right? It can be a predecessor, it could be somebody from outside, his own party or something like that. He'll never put anybody down, will talk the right language, use the right words, will not use jargons, will not put others down, trample them. That's more important. You know, the elephant tramples, and if it is trample, you're dead. Okay, you can be dead for sure if once a trampling is over. So you cannot be having position, power in your hand and trample down others. That can be the gravest sin a leader can ever do. And release them to make the impact. And now this is a beautiful slide. Okay, the ability to stay calm under pressure is a great quality. I'm going to end with two videos later, which the host is going to play. The ability to stay calm. You know, presidential debates happen. And during one of the debates, he was cornered for the use of drugs at his very young age of 18, 19 years old. So during the break, he went back, stood there and reflected upon that. He was not pressurized. He stood calm and came back and spoke sense. So the ability to stay calm under pressure is the greatest quality of a particular leader, right? And to admit mistakes. Another important thing is about don't be afraid to experiment, right? Don't be afraid to experiment. Okay, you can try innovative things, and mind you, you need to try new things in order to, okay, what you call, do things differently. So this is about the leadership from lessons from Barack Obama, which the co-host or the host will be sharing to you also. And I'll come to this final video of okay, I'll ask the host to please share. The first video is about hold on, BlackBerry takes a hit at Apple. Can you play that video, please, host? BlackBerry takes a hit at Apple. I want you to observe this video carefully. This is somewhere decades old video, but there's a meaning in that. Okay, hold on. So this was BlackBerry's advertisement hitting at Apple. Okay, this was BlackBerry's advertisement hitting at Apple. So Apple had to respond. Okay, and they didn't react, but they responded in a manner. Let's see the response from Apple. Over to you, co-host. So that's the best example I can give you for reaction and responding, right? So rest is history. We know Apple is it, and we know where BlackBerry is right. Okay, I still have 5 minutes time. I'm going to quickly go through some questions which you have mentioned, which some of you had mentioned. Okay, can I have the presenter rights, please? Can I have the presenter rights, please? Some questions. Okay. Now, what should we do when we get nervous in communicating? How do we switch between personalities according to the person you're talking? How to communicate like a leader and make your point more impactful? Okay, how communication helps in being an effective leader, public speaking, influence, all this volume of questions I have received. I've received a volume of questions. Now, if I start answering all of this, maybe our time will go up till 7 o'clock. So I have already mentioned this to you. Now, I said these communication skills are one which you can develop over a period of time. You need to develop. You need to go to the stage if you have a stage fear. You need to rehearse well. You need to practice. You need to first speak in front of your class, speak in front of an audience, talk, improve your communication. Mind you, there is always a room for improvement. Even now, I could stammer with a few words because my mother tongue is not English. My mother tongue is entirely different. Each one of us are being rooted with our regional language. Please understand that. So we could have an accent towards us. Nothing wrong in that. Please understand. Nothing wrong in that. But having said that, I would say that you can look at videos, watch videos, how the leader is able to put across things, learn, okay, from that, get a few words, how you can make your speech beautiful enough with phrases, with quotes in between, and be a wonderful speaker. And mind you, I do training programs for 8 hours at a stretch with activities and everything. And you need to have a lot of energy. You need to give the same energy which you began at the beginning till the end. Now, I want to conclude. Are you, my dear lady, are you waiting to give me a vote of thanks? Are you there to give me a vote of thanks? Yeah. Okay, hold on. I've not yet concluded because I said I still have something more to tell the audience. Okay. I always end with a pencil parable. I always end with a pencil parable. And are you ready for the pencil parable? I still have 5 minutes time. I still have 5 minutes time. Okay, fine. Okay. Now I have a set of pencils with me. I have a set of pencils with me. Can you see these pencils over here? I have a green, orange, blue, okay, and a pink one over here. Okay, fine. Now there was a pencil maker who used to make pencils and put them into boxes. And what he told to the pencil was of utmost importance. He used to tell the pencil, point number one. What is important for you is what is inside you and not what is outside you. Got it? Now, what is inside the pencil? What is inside the pencil? Quickly give me a type on the chat box. What is inside the pencil? Yes, lead. Yes. Without the lead, it's not a pencil. Without the lead, it's not the pencil. So what is important is what is inside you and not outside you. Second, he told the pencil that time and again you require sharpening. Okay, you require sharpening, but that is to get the best out of you. I have sharpened this pencil and kept it towards my cheek to see whether it is sharp enough. Have you done that during your school days? Have you done that? You sharpen it and keep it? Yes. And it's a painful, but that is to get the best out of the pencil. Third, you would make mistakes, and that is why there are erasers. There is an eraser behind this pencil over here. You can see that eraser behind this pencil over here. There are erasers behind this pencil. So only fools keep repeating this mistake again and again, right? Okay, so you can correct your mistake, go forward in life. Don't look back what has happened. You learn from that mistake, get an experience and go. Fourth, right? Whatever you do, you have to leave a good impression. Okay, whether this pencil is going to write on the wall, on the wood. Have you seen carpenters holding it in their ear and doing it? Right? Okay, you have to give the best impression. Fifth, allow yourself to be held by the hand of God. You cannot do anything on your own. So having said this, the pencil maker put them into box and send them. Now, replace the pencil with each one of you. I repeat, replace the pencil with each one of you. Number one, what is more important is what is inside you, your intentions. Your intentions, your character is more important than your external appearance. Second, you would get a painful experience. That could be an accident or a death in the family or sickness, but that is to get the best out of you. You grow when you have adversities. Please understand that. Third, you would make mistakes, but there are erasers. Don't repeat the same mistake. Correct it and go forward in life. Look positive in life. Fourth, whatever you do, leave a good impression. Today, I'm leaving an impression with you. Whatever I'm doing, I leave a good impression. The same thing with you people also. Fifth, allow yourself to be held by the hand of God, because without that omnipresence, you cannot do anything on your own. Thank you so much. Now I'll open for some questions, because I got a girl who was asking me repeatedly, what if others do not allow me to talk? You need to make yourself heard. You need to make yourself to be heard. Please understand. You need to make your way out, right? And the politeness, it you see in a group discussion, we don't give marks for the person who talks the most, who makes his way. We give marks for those people who can allow others to speak also. So you should be heard. You should be allowed to speak. You need to make a point and say, hey, listen, there is a valid point which I have to make, and you have to make that particular point, right? Sometimes you need to blow your own trumpet. Please understand that. Sometimes you need to blow your own trumpet. And there was another question which was asking about, okay, something like negotiation and communication. That's very true. Negotiation is an entirely different part. Okay, you need certain negotiating skills to go about with it. Communication skills are entirely different, but without proper communication skills, you cannot go into negotiation. Okay, I know there's a volume of questions over there, and I would have addressed one or the other question during my speech of this 1.5 hours. Having said that, I leave it to my co-host Yogesh, who's been a patient guy listening to me for almost 1 week. Okay, and I've been cracking jokes at him. Of course, you can joke, but you can never poke at people. Over to you, Yogesh, and to the organizers.
Thank you, sir. So would you like to take another couple of questions and answer them?
Yeah, I can take.
Okay. So one question from Abhishek, he has said, how important is it to be assertive while communicating? I hope it is in the context of communicating.
Okay, fine. You see, just like how we listen to the FM radio, there's an advertisement, and then they finally say conditions apply, right? Conditions apply. In the same manner, that assertiveness is wherein you have to say, listen, I have drawn these rules over there, right? You can put forth your point and say that this is the conditions which apply over here. You need to listen to this. You need to go by this. You need to be, by being assertive doesn't mean that you're rude. There's a difference. By being assertive doesn't mean that you're rude. You're putting your point forth and saying that this is how the boundary works over here. That is your assertiveness. You got the point very clearly? This is your assertiveness, right? Okay. So that is the difference in which we go about. Not being rude, number one. Assertive is not you're putting your point forward and saying that this is how we will draw the boundaries over here, and that is assertiveness over here.
So another private message which I have received. Why communication plays an important role in every aspect?
Yes, of course. I mean, you're dealing with people. Man is a social animal. Sometimes remove the social, he becomes, right? He becomes, put a question mark over there. Man is a social animal. So remove the social part and he becomes an animal over there. Communication is the essence of life. We need to keep, we keep on communicating in one manner or the other until we kick the bucket. Please understand that. Not necessarily when we need things. And one good thing about communication is that, okay, the way we go about, very good communicators can inspire people to become great leaders. All right. Okay. So it's up to you to make a benchmark in your communication level, how you put across things, because a good communicator will also be accepted by the society. Okay, a good communicator. I need not tell you about our prime minister. I mean, he's a very good communicator. He's very good in communication speech. Fantastic. But I'll tell you people, go and listen to the late Mr. Vajpayee's speech and then compare it. He is one of the best communicators I've ever come across. If you think Mr. Narendra Modi is a good communicator, sorry, you got it wrong. Mr. Vajpayee is a cecil speaker. Okay, I've seen him speak, and he's one of the best communicators. Of course, crowd puller is entirely different to a communicator, right? Okay, now a good communicator, a true leader is Atal Bihari Vajpayee. I salute that gentleman over there. So you need to compare and see. That's why I played two videos for you to compare. One is honesty. I played that particular video. Another is about, I played you was about the acts of generosity. So you see the difference in the people. And that's why I intentionally put it over there. And I have to tell you about how body language plays over there. So yes, communication is the essence of life for a good leader. Until you're a good communicator, you can never become a good leader.
So there are last two questions. The first is how to say no without feeling guilty.
Well, I would say that you have to be a diplomat. Sometimes when you ask a diplomat if it is yes or no, he will not tell you yes or no. He'll say maybe, perhaps, can be, cannot be, can't say like that. Well, of course, anything less than 1 paise in a rupee is not 1 rupee but 99 paise. Got it very clear? Anything less than 1 paise in a rupee is 99 paise and not 1 rupee. Would you compromise on that? Right? With the fuel prices going high, you go to the petrol pump and you put petrol for around 3,000 rupees. The fellow puts only for 2,990 rupees and say 10 rupees, sorry sir, fuel is out. You will say, no, no, fuel prices are, give me it. So you have to politely put that word no, right? What you cannot do, you have to put the word no. There's nothing wrong in feeling guilty about it. Sometimes I've been called to give speeches and I say, no, sorry, I'm very busy with my regular classes. I have so many things piled up, so I will not be able to do it. Maybe later I'll do it. As of now, I cannot do it. I apologize and tell them that, sorry, I can't do it. So where you have to say no, you have to put that word no over there. You cannot compromise on that no and say that, yes, I will do it, which means you will be burning your fingers over there. Please understand that. A no is a no. That's it. Right? Sometimes my kid asks me something and I'll say, sorry, now it can't be done. Maybe look in the future, or sometimes I'll say no, a flat no over there. Right? There's nothing wrong in feeling that guilty about it. Right? As a leader, you take a stand to say no. That's it.
So the very last questions. How to influence a team with all members being senior.
I still remember when I went to St. John's Medical College. That was in the year 2004 in the admission panel. When I entered the room, of course, those 2004, there were only gray hair and no hairs in that panel over there. And I was around 32 years old with full of hair. I was wondering, am I in the wrong place over there? And everybody were much, much senior to me by 15, 20 years, some people by 30 years over there. Right? And I made my presence felt by talking sense to them, talking something which is fruitful, because we were asked to sit one day and finalize how exactly are we going to do the interview selection for the next 2 days. So a chance came to me wherein I said that these are my thoughts over here, man. I mean, your words, your behavior, body language, okay, your content, that should be an influence over there. Okay, today I would have influenced you in one manner or other. I put in so many things to put in influence. None of the videos were made by me. Sorry, I don't know where the videos have come from, but I played the video in the right sense to influence you. Right? Even the PPT, I told one of my students to make the PPT. I just said the content and she sent me across. Okay, of course, I'm going to pay her because I believe in dignity of labor. So you have to use your team, okay, your team to influence the team itself. Please, and your behavior, your lifestyle, your work ethics should influence the team, and you can go ahead, you can reach miles, you can reach to greater heights when you have a very good team. That is how I have my HED core team, wherein we go about, and I believe in my team's strength. Please understand.
Thank you, Sam. So over to Sam, sir, and Rashima.
Rashi, I'll just kind of go real quick. First and foremost, sir, we want to take this time. Thank you. There's an official note. I also want to thank the students for staying 6 minutes longer. Guys, if you can give us 4 more minutes. Just want to say this, that the reason we're pitching this is, think of you going to a gym. When it comes to physical exercise, all of us know that we have to diet, exercise, do all those things that we need to do. Correct? So you go to a gym, you diet, you exercise, you have to keep weight, all of that. But somehow when it comes to things like leadership, we just want leadership to happen. We don't develop the leadership muscles, right? Whether it's communication, negotiating, you don't want to invest. You just want those positions. Chalo, theek hai, let's go for it. But it doesn't work like that. right? And leadership is more than positions anyway. So get to the gym, develop those leadership muscles is what I would urge you. At Pravin Kennett Chair on Leadership, you have an opportunity to upskill, not just here, any volunteering work you do with any centers. You can still come here and be a part of it and practice here. This is a space where you practice, work those muscles, right? Or you may be at CSA, SW, anywhere. You practice those muscles. It may be a department hub or a club. You practice those muscles and you share that here with us so you can, learn those skills. So I just want to pitch that real quick, looking forward for you. And again, please remember, if you attend all of the 5 sessions, we will give you a certificate that you can put on your profile, on your, it's also a way to motivate you to stick with us, the course, because that's when leadership happens. We want to model that for you. That's part of the gym that you go to, right? Not just hit and run. So we want to say that 5 courses continually will give you a certificate. Thank you so much. Thank you again, sir. Over to you, Rashi.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Muthu Ruben, sir. Really, there are 2 things which I'm taking today from the session, and I know everybody else is also taking that, more than 2 things. One is the humility which you spoke, sir. Coming from law department, the way you connected with the crowd, the way you spoke was something which is really new for me, because generally from people like, your profile, the connection becomes very difficult with the students, in the training model. And the way you connected, it was so easy to understand and to be connected with you. And we want to listen to you more and more. Time is not a problem. Generally, time becomes a problem in webinar, but here we want to listen to you. So that is something, the humility and the connect, which you made so beautiful today to happen. And I just want to acknowledge the training team in front of everybody, the students. We have Pravin Kennett Leadership Chairs training team, 2 students who were behind this, and the other students also who were behind this training, this webinar. We had lovely registrations and people were so attracted towards the session. It is Mr. Yogesh from MBA, the student, and Miss Karina from BCom. So these both the students were behind this entire training and webinar. Thank you very much. Me and Sam were supporting them, but they were in the forefront. Thank you to the team. Thank you, Vanshika, for taking the minutes and being present, and all the leadership family, the Pravin Kennett leadership family who are here. Thank you very much for being here. Over to you, Karina. Thank you.
One correction, Rashi ma'am, I'm not a law faculty. I'm an outlaw over there.
Oh,
Know that. I'm not a law faculty. My core area is accounts and finance, and that's how I was able to get the business videos over there. Okay. So I call myself an outlaw of the department.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this.
Thank you so much.